Good evening. Good evening. Tashina Gonzalez here with Vida Activa. And tonight we are going to give you a bonus live talking about natural support for fibroids. So as you know, all this month we are helping women get healthy. We are helping women and men. I did one video for the men as well with balancing hormones. And so we've talked about the general stuff. We've already did our video on PMS and perimenopause and menopause. So if you haven't seen those videos, make sure that you hop on my YouTube immediately and get those videos. And so here we're going to talk about fibroids. So this is something near and dear to my heart in a negative way because this is something that I suffered for. So as usual, as you hop on here, give me a wave, a hi, a hello. Let me know what city and state you are watching me from, and hashtag replay depending on, and it doesn't matter which venue you're watching me on, YouTube, Instagram, or Facebook. Definitely hashtag replay if you're watching the replay. So I suffered from these 5 years ago for an entire 2 years. And it took me a while to figure out what exactly it was, but I had a lot of the symptoms, and I ended up having to have a myomectomy in order to have it removed. But first, what are they? So fibroids are abnormal growths that develop in or on a woman's uterus. Sometimes these tumors can become quite large and cause severe abdominal pain and heavy periods. In other cases, they cause no signs or symptoms at all. The growths are typically benign or non-cancerous. And so mine were actually in my uterine wall, and so it was very irritating to it, although I don't think mine was considered large, and I didn't have more than one. So what are some of the things that contribute to it? So one of the things that we talked about is just balancing our hormones, right? So estrogen and progesterone are the hormones that are produced by our ovaries, and they cause the uterine lining to regenerate during each menstrual cycle, and they may stimulate the growth of fibroids. So we talked about earlier estrogen dominance being an issue for a lot of people. So some of the things that can actually contribute to them or risk factors, they're actually more likely during pregnancy, if you have a family history of fibroids, which I do. When you're 30 or older, they're more likely to happen. And if you have a high body weight, and unfortunately, they are more common for African American women. So what are some of the symptoms? So for some, heavy menstrual bleeding and trouble conceiving, and they tend to shrink menopause and after menopause. And so that's one of the things that they told me when I had my surgery. They're like, you're probably still gonna have issues because we don't really know what causes it, and they're probably gonna come back, and you'll be good after menopause. But for me, like, I've been 5 years without them and never felt better when it comes to my time of the month. So some of the symptoms, which I had pretty much all of them: heavy bleeding between or during your periods. That includes blood clots. So like there would be times where, okay, this is way too TMI. I hope there's no guys. But like I would take out my tampon and it felt like things were pouring out of me that had never happened before in my life. Pain in the pelvis and lower back, I had that. Increased menstrual cramping, I had that. I never had cramps the majority of the time. Like I used to have the easiest ever. And then one day wouldn't stop bleeding. I went to the emergency room and it was like all of a sudden my life was different. Increased urination, pain during intercourse, menstruation that lasts longer than usual, pressure or fullness in your lower abdomen, swelling or enlargement of the abdomen. So I had pretty much all of those symptoms. So how are they diagnosed? You have to go to your gynecologist, get a pelvic exam, sometimes ultrasound and pelvic MRI. I don't remember I think I had at least 2 of those. I don't remember exactly which ones, but it took them like 6 months to figure out what was wrong with me. And by the time like I had my surgery, I was bleeding 25 days out of the month. So it was like, yeah, super, plus all the pain, plus it was just bad. So a lot of times they'll use medications like hormone therapy, your birth control pills, and then of course OTC medicine for your pain. They kept increasing my birth control, didn't help. So they were like, you should probably have surgery. So again, I had a myomectomy where they went in and they took the fibroid out. Some people have so many that they actually have to have a hysterectomy. Thankfully, I did not have to have that. So going into the things that we can do to help us. So of course, we're going to want to manage our stress levels. And if we're overweight and we have fibroids, then it should be a personal goal to lose weight because that reduces your estrogen levels. Things to help with reducing the stress level: acupuncture, mindful movement, like we're having a mindful movement class on Friday, but other things that are under that are Tai Chi, yoga, etc. Massage, applying heat when you have cramps. And then diet changes. We always talk about diet because that is our first line of defense. So we're going to avoid meat, processed and high calorie foods. And we are going to opt for foods high in flavonoids, green vegetables, cold water fish, such as tuna and salmon, high fiber, cooked and raw vegetables, cooked, raw, and dried fruit, whole grain, bread and pasta, cruciferous vegetables, oats, lentils, barleys. Things that are high in potassium, such as avocado, banana, citrus, cantaloupe, collard greens, dates, lentils, potatoes, oat bran, and tomatoes. So for this, following a Mediterranean diet seems to be very helpful. There's some studies that help. Research helps that eating how the Mediterranean, and I did a whole video on that, so go on my YouTube and check out that video. Green tea. So they're shown, this particular article shown that there's some studies showing that green tea can definitely help with fibroids, and it can especially help with the low iron. Cut back on alcohol, and then do other things to balance off our estrogen. Again, exercise, losing weight, and avoiding hormone disrupting chemicals. So I did an entire video on this already. Haven't seen that? Hop on my YouTube video to get that. But things like fertilizers, pesticides, plastics such as BPA, non-stick coatings on cookware, fire retardants, dyes, paints, and most personal care products. If you are having hormone issues, get the toxins out. And that's why when people get started on their wellness plan with us, they usually get started with some essential oils that are going to meet every need in their body. And then we have them get our Thieves line their second month, because that is a gateway and a quick way for them to detox their home. So it's always important to get the things that you need to support, and then we eliminate, then we nutrify, and then we supplement as necessary. Lower your blood pressure if that's an issue. That seems to be a lot of times connected, and get enough vitamin D. And then, of course, we always have our additional things that we're going to do to support. So mostly the usual suspects that we've been talking about. For me, as a person that started when they had fibroids, had the surgery to remove them, and to make sure that I stay above the wellness line, some of the things that I use on a regular basis is Progestins Plus. Definitely is something that I use. Geranium, I rub this on my abdomen, and these are ones I use every day. Endoflex, which supports my complete endocrine system, and this just has a lot of good things for relaxation, as well as everything that's part of your endocrine system, which is a lot of stuff. Another good one is frankincense. So this is the Vitality version, but you can also use the topical version. And as I was doing this, I was remembering that when I was going through this, because this really was my gateway into how can I find natural things, honestly, guys, because I was going to doctors and they were acting like it was not a problem. And so I was buying female vitamins, and I was buying tinctures that were so disgusting. I was buying pure Dong Quai and all this other stuff, and nothing was working for me. And one of the things I bought was this blend of tummy rub. So it's a blend of essential oils. I don't know what brand it is because it's like the label's off of it. But that's one thing to keep in mind all the time, is that authentic matters, because the essential oils that I bought off of Amazon.com did nothing for me. They did absolutely nothing for me. And so you got to make sure you know where your essential oils are sourced. Do not buy them from Vitamin World. Do not buy them from your local health food store, most likely. You have to go to the website and make sure you know where they're sourced. Because I'm used to getting ones that come directly from a farm. That's the quality standard that I now hold myself to. So that is what I want to share with you guys. On Tuesday, we're going to have a Facebook class. So we've already had several classes where we talked about, and I've already done short videos, but I'm going to have a Facebook class Tuesday, 8:30, where we are going to talk about in detail a lot of these things all put together, one package, 145-minute event of balancing healthy hormones. As usual, if you know anyone that can use this information, please share so that they can get it, to know that they, while they work with their doctor, while they're doing all the things that they need to, there is some natural things that they can support as well. Thank you again for watching me, and if you tuned in late, don't forget to give me a wave or hi or hello, as well as don't forget to follow me on YouTube. It's just my name, Tashina Gonzalez, to watch all the other videos that I've been doing all month on healthy hormones. Thank you guys. Have an amazing evening. Bye.